them is saying. I see you. That won't bring you in a minute. You have to look at them with what they were saying about, oh, they trying to wipe out our history. They trying to do this. They trying to do that. And at first, I'm thinking to myself, ain't nobody trying to wipe out your history. Ain't nobody trying to do that. To get the black person mad. If you want it up, I don't want to hear about my people hanging from trees. I don't want to give over their stuff. We want all white people to, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, damn, I'm not racist. I'm not taking and things like that. We fight for freedom and things like that. The same thing happened in 1800s. The same thing happened in the 1900s. The same thing happened in the 2000s. It's not gonna stop. Now I want to bring my boy on. How should I do this? Let me start with you, King. Let me take this off right quick. This is my boy King. Let's take this screen share off. Okay. This is my boy King Dawood. You know what I'm saying? All one word. You know, and like I said, I met this brother on another show, and I wanted to talk to him. Now, have you heard about some of the things I was saying? Now, first of all, introduce yourself. Let me introduce yourself properly and tell everybody, you know what I'm saying, where you from, what you about, and a little bit about yourself.
All right. Good morning to all of y'all, or everybody on the West Coast. And then good afternoon, good evening to everybody on the East Coast, down Texas. But my name is King Dawood Burgess. That's KINGDAWUD. I'm an author. I got 4 books published. You can get them at Amazon. You can go on my YouTube and follow me there, or you could either go on Instagram and send me a DM, and I'll contact you directly back. I wrote 50 novels, and what brought these novels about, I feel like a lot of people wasn't telling the true story about our life. You know, you had a lot of Hollywood spin on everything. Like, even when it come down to dealing with Democrats or whoever is saying they fighting for us, it's hard for somebody to fight for you when they don't know your struggle. And it's never the people who actually went through these struggles who up in front fighting, because they know what the struggle is about, because they went through it, like yourself, Black. So yeah. That's why we named this
You breaking up a little bit.
This live, who's fighting for us? Because you have people like Blacks like myself and you. We've been through prison systems, so we know what the problem is. We've been through being stuck into poverty, so we understand what the problem is. And the problem is the people who are actually fighting for us ain't fighting for us. They fighting for themselves, and they're using us as an agenda to push forth their agenda, which means we gonna never get what we supposed to have or anything of what we want, because the wrong people fighting for us. But back to myself, you know, I spent countless amount of years in prison, incarcerated, because I had a lack of guidance, and the people before me, they had a lack of guidance. They was taught to believe that many things that was wrong was right, and they ran with that, and it got them in a lot of trouble. Like, I don't think that any particular person or group came and picked them out and made them do what they done. I think they made a choice. So to speak to what you were speaking about earlier, Black, like, we got a choice in the matter. Nobody makes you poor. You make yourself poor. If you choose to stay poor because you're comfortable getting food stamps every month, and you don't want that to go away, so you're gonna continue to make a minimum amount of money to make sure you got that check coming, then that's your fault. It ain't the fault of the people.
I got a question for you. I got a question for you, right? Now, when did did Donald Trump affect your life any kind of way with any of his laws? Did it affect your life any kind of way?
Donald Trump affected my life in many ways, and I'm gonna go back a little further than what I told you last time. But growing up, everybody wanted to be like Trump, because Trump represented power. He represented hope. He represented somebody who made it out of the struggle. He took whatever he was given and he turned it into an immense amount of wealth. And, you know, a lot of Black people who trapped in ghettos, they look at that like a hero. They look at that like, man, this man did something that I would love to do. So a lot of people, they consider him to be a hero. They love this man because the man is brash. He's all American. Like, we don't allow you to just say what you want to us. we gonna fight back. If you say something I don't like, I'm gonna tell you about it. And that's what he do. Now everybody mad at him because he's being American. It's like you don't get no more American than him. Like he gonna
No,
stand
you
up for
don't.
what he believe in. He
You
gonna
know,
he gonna
I tell people all the time, like Donald Trump is somebody a real man wants to be, right? He's powerful, he's rich, you know, he say and do what he wants, you know, and he's himself. Every man should strive to be like that, you know. There shouldn't be no man that doesn't want to be like that. And when you have a man like that that represents your country, that's a position of power. Now we don't have men that was in position of power that been in the past that haven't been real Americans and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you said something about being a real American and stuff like that. You know, and so as an American, right? What do you see in yourself in Donald Trump? Because everybody see, if you're a real man, you see something in yourself about Donald Trump. So what do you see in yourself in Donald Trump?
Well, what I see is like on a regular basis, I'm Donald Trump every day. Like you say something to me and I don't like it, I'm gonna tell you about yourself. So I see that. I'm gonna stand up for my family. I'm gonna stand up for what I believe in. Man, if I ever made it to be a billionaire, I don't think anybody should ever have a problem with that. How you gonna have a problem with me being successful? You need to go out and be successful, or you need to go out and put a plan together to be successful, and you won't even really be worried about me no more because you too busy trying to fix your own life. So I see the man did all of that, and the odds was against him every step of the way, but he still overcame that. So the odds been against me every step of the way. And in publishing 4 books with $5, getting paid $5 a month in prison, and having to save all that up and turn that into a store where I'm selling 2 chips for 3. It took a long time. So when you actually doing business, you know how hard it is to make money. It's not easy to make money. You got everybody trying to take money from you. Everybody got their hand out. So he was able to surpass expectations and be the man that he is, not because somebody gave him something or somebody made him who he is, because he had it in him to be what he wanted to be. And as we say as Americans, the American dream, you should be able to be whatever you want to be. So he was able to be whatever he wanted to be. He became the most powerful man in the world. Not only that, he became very, very rich, and he's in a powerful circle. So who don't want that? You tell me somebody who don't want that. So everybody who say they don't like Donald Trump, they would love to be him though. But back to what you was asking me earlier, he affected my life in a way that you would think a black president would have.
Yeah.
Like I said, if anybody go read the Constitution, we real big on this constitutional thing. Like if it's against the Constitution, everybody against you. So if we really standing on the Constitution, if you look, you will see that the president, whether it's Obama or Donald Trump, they have executive order powers that they can free any federal prisoner. They can do it. That's a power that's been given to them. So I
Yeah.
said, if Obama, who didn't have no political detriment coming to him, if he would have chose to say, you know what, all these people have been sentenced unjustly for crack, Congress has stated it. Congress stated it, both houses. The Senate and the House said this is wrong, but it took forever for them to change it. He could have just passed an executive order. I'm letting everybody who got a crack case out. He could have did that, but he didn't do that. And he ain't had nothing to lose. He wasn't even running for president no more, so he could have did it, and it wouldn't even have hurt him. But he didn't do that. So you had Trump come along, and he came up with the Fair Sentencing Act. And that act actually was made retroactive to let everybody who didn't get out on the crack case to get them out. So it's just like, a use example. Let's say it's a bunch of slaves, and they say slavery is wrong, but we're going to free everybody from this point who might be a slave. If you could have been a slave, you're not going to get enslaved. But everybody who was a slave, they got to stay slaves because the law ain't retroactive. So technically, the law ain't helped nobody. All the people that already sold crack was in jail. So when Trump came along, he passed that bill, or he pushed with his son-in-law, Jared. They pushed that bill until Congress. They didn't take no time to pass that bill. They ain't take 10, 20 years. They passed that bill in no time. And as a result of it, my release date was 2023. I got out in 2019. So he cut 4 years off my prison sentence. So that's a real effect that I've seen a president have in my life. I can't tell you. I don't know what Obama did. I was in prison while he was president, but I don't remember anything that he did ever affected my family, because I was selling drugs to get them out of poverty, and they were still in poverty when I got out. So I don't know exactly what he done to change their situation. I remember the unemployment for blacks was real high. it was still real high when he left. So I don't know what he done. Now, if you can show me something that he done besides being the first black president, I'm willing to look at it. But I just don't see nothing he done. But Donald Trump had a real effect on my life.
And I don't think enough people hear these stories, because you don't hear these stories in the news circle or in the social media network, you know, in places that it need to be heard. And that's kind of taken away from what Donald Trump is doing, because only thing you hear is about racist this, he ain't done this, he ain't doing that, and everything he does don't get no credit. They don't give him credit for like letting people like you out with fair Citizen Act and second chance prison reform and things like that. Even now, we have a dude Tim Scott that passed police reform. They didn't even respect that. They helped that and that through so they can get an amendment on that and work on that bill. So it's a lot of things that they're doing as far as against Donald Trump, against things that Donald Trump is doing, you know, that affects the black community. It's a lot of things that they're putting in to stop that, you know, and a lot of black people are not seeing this because they so headstrong on Donald Trump is racist. We got to get Donald Trump out of office. We got to do this because everything they hear on the news is racist. I heard it's 90%. They've done a survey. 90% of the news that's on regular TV network, 90% of it is anti-Trump. It's only like 10% of regular news, because all these news is connected. All these they got senators and all these politicians that's connected to all these cameramans. I mean, news analysts. You got news analysts used to be senators and stuff like that. So it's a deep connection, right? And it's a lot of them that don't like Donald Trump, right? So 90% of the news coverage that's coverage on Donald Trump is negative, right? You never saw that much coverage on Donald Trump positive. I mean, on Barack Obama positive or negative, because he never made the news.
I think that's part of the Republicans' fault, because they keep on having the same people out front speaking, and people consider the people out front who speaking for them to already be racist, to already be super rich. So they feel like it's a disconnect. Like, we don't feel like y'all like us, and we feel like y'all can't relate to our struggle. So they got to have people like yourself, they got to have people like me speak to what the Republican Party has actually done to affect their life. So they see real change, like this dude just like us. Matter of fact, his struggle was worse than ours, and they helped him. See, so they're not pushing for us. They're not having us out front telling the people, because it's normal people. Like Donald Trump is 1 in a trillion, and some of his friends are 1 in a trillion, and then a lot of the people who run the Republican Party, they like 1 in a trillion. So people can't connect to them. So they need people who can connect with the people speaking on their behalf, because you don't always have to be the one out front speaking. You can have somebody else speaking, like the success stories of myself or the other brothers who got out of prison because of the law Trump passed. Like yourself, you didn't feel like you wanted to hand out people giving you food stamps, because that make you lazy. You feel like, well, I got this check coming every month, so why should I go work? I'm gonna just be slick and stay at home. I don't want to be in that position. I want to put me in a position like the Republicans say, something I love that they say, and I'm not a Republican, by the way, and I'm not a Democrat either, but I like a lot of different ideas. And I think one of the great ideas that the Republicans have is everybody should pay their fair share unless they can't, like somebody's disabled or something like that. But if you can work, then you should work. So they trying to create jobs where everybody got a decent pay. So if I got a decent pay, why would I settle for $400 in food stamps when I could be making $150,000 a year? Like in food stamps, imagine that, $400 a month. So you making $4,000 a month. Who gonna settle for that when I can get $150,000 of my own sweat? Man, anybody would accept that.
It basically breaks down to like $13 a day. You know what I'm saying? You got food, transportation, and clothes with $13 a day. You know, you got to do all of that with $13 a day. That's not no way to live. And the only way people can live like that is in a community, because we see people like that. We see 5 or 6 of them in a household living with Big Mama and stuff like that. Everybody get Big Mama their food stamps, and everybody come together. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their different own hustle. But in doing like you say, right? I made a joke about that. I don't know if I put it up right, but it's how black people, how they're paying black women to keep the black men out the house, And that's dangerous. By giving all these programs and food stamps and things like that, they preach separation from the house instead of unity and things like that. Now, if Democrats really gave a fuck about black people and things like that, they make programs to implement that the men stay in the house. You know, different programs for couples and married people with kids and things like that, and give people incentives to get off their ass and work, and give people incentives and assistance to get off their ass and work. You feel me? We don't have that now. And back to what you said something earlier, right? And I'm trying to get into that, right? I'm trying to find a lot of different people, like the things me and you've been through, right? I want to find people like me and you that's been through certain things that Donald Trump laws have actually helped, that reaching out to people and people reaching out to us, you know, as far as on different racial things and things like that. And it is really not as bad as people say it is, because I don't know about you. Like, I made a poster earlier about I have never really experienced racism, right? Now I experience hate, but I have never been a victim of racism, and it's maybe because I lived in Los Angeles all my life, because I experienced hate in prison. That's from Mexicans, white, you know what I'm saying? All that is hate, because nobody got no power, you know, to stop you from doing anything. The blacks got just as much power as anybody else, and the police is biracial up there. You got Mexican police that do fucked up shit. You got black police that do fucked up shit. So it's not a racial thing; it's a police thing up in there, right? On the streets, right? I don't see too many white people in my neighborhood, or when I interact in the hood, I see a lot of Mexicans. So any racial thing I get was with Hispanics, or any hate thing I got was with Hispanics. So me and doing my thing, you know, like you said, drug selling, all that stuff, you don't communicate with too many white people. You're not in too many of them area or in ambience, you know. So I didn't have the hate and the racism. Now, I don't know about you. Have you experienced?
I had the racism, Black. The racism.
Huh?
The racism I had, I think you experienced racism, but you might be looking at it a little different than me. I think a lot of times, like when we walk out our house, it's another black man looking at you crazy, like you done something to him already and you ain't done nothing. Or it's like whenever you walk through certain neighborhoods, you have certain blacks looking at you crazy, like you ain't supposed to be around there, like you ain't earned the right to exist in their presence. And that's racism. Like they already racist to you.
Oh yeah.
For no reason.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, even with them trying to kill us, like, man, who do we fear? Do we fear the police killing us more than we fear our own kind killing us? Like, I fear another black man gonna kill me before I fear the police gonna kill me, because I don't interact with the police as much as I interact with my own kind. And I don't know why we got that disconnect where we hate each other so much. But like I said, you got the people in power, like the Republicans, the Democrats. They got major platforms. They need to put you on a platform. You know somebody who was in prison with you, who called all the shots. You don't think that they can stop all that violence in Chicago? Larry Hoover, perfect example. It's easy. He right in their prison system. They can reach in there and say, okay, this is what you're going to do to get some good time. You're going to stop all this murder. So they got all these people thinking for us, and they ain't thinking right. Like, you can easily fix this. You got people who ain't even got a GED who can figure out how to fix this. But back to what you were saying, like, even with the Black Lives Matter thing, I heard you comment on that. Like, I don't fully agree with what they stand for at all, because Black lives matter when the police kill somebody. Black lives should matter when another black man kills somebody. Why them same people who marching around can't go to them neighborhoods in Chicago, go to them neighborhoods in Louisiana and shut that joint down? Y'all ain't selling no drugs. Y'all ain't doing nothing illegal. It's over with. Yeah, y'all want to keep killing black people? Use that same energy all the time. Not just some Black Lives Matter. My homies, Black Lives Matter. Nah, if Black Lives Matter, then they all should matter. Not just when the police kill them, but when they kill each other too. Go shut their neighborhood down, just like y'all standing in front of the White House, standing in front of the Capitol, walking and marching around.
You fizzled out a little bit. You fizzled out a little bit. But, you fizzled.
Huh?
All right, we back on. We go back on. But back to what you were saying about the racism amongst each other, right? And I use that as an example all the time, and that's why a lot of people don't understand my comedy. A lot of people get mad at my comedy, right? Because what I do personally in my comedy, right, it's not to offend nobody. It's like I put the mirror in front of you, right? Like I'm proud to be black. I'm proud to be black. I love being black, right? I don't want to be nothing else, right? So if I'm proud to be black, why can't somebody be proud to be white? You feel what I'm saying? I'm just saying. You're just saying. I have the right to be proud to be
Yeah, I agree.
black, and I don't care if you're proud to be white. You have that privilege. You have that right. So why should I say, oh, you're wrong for loving who you are, and I can love who I am? You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of things you say about this racism, things like this, there's a lot of divide in our streets because, like you say, I'm more afraid of walking down the street and getting shot by somebody black, robbed by somebody black. You know what I'm saying? Crucified by somebody black, kidnapped. But anything they say the police is doing to us, I'm more afraid of somebody black doing it to me 10 times more. The only time I've been shot at was by somebody black. The only time somebody attempted to rob me was when I was black. The only time somebody told me I couldn't be somewhere, you know what I'm saying, on a certain street, on a certain block, in a certain store was somebody black. At a certain restaurant, I can't eat at a certain restaurant. Hey, homie, you got to get out of here. So everything I experience as far as hate or racism, like you say, I have for black folks. So when I tell people like this, like, okay, I was raised like my grandfather, like I put up on my Facebook. He was a part of history. He was put on death row. Him and his brother that was wrongfully accused of murdering a white woman, right back in the days, right? They beat the case, things like that. And his grandfather was a slave. So imagine how naturally racist he was, right? He didn't like white people for nothing. They set him up. His grandfather was slave. He went on death row. I mean, he had a bad experiences with white folks, right? But I used to get all my lessons from him, right? Every day I used to get a lesson from him about this, about that, and stuff like that. So I was raised around history. So what I'm telling people right now is I wasn't racist because what my grandfather was telling me, I thought it was fucked up. And it made me not trust certain white people, but it didn't make me feel like I was oppressed or feel race. I was being I was racism. I was feeling like racism was used against me and stuff like that. I wasn't feeling like that. But it took me to get comfortable later on in life around white folks, and it took me to go to prison, right? To get comfortable around white folks, right? To learn out how to reach out to white folks, to conversate with white folks, to understand that hey, they're just proud to be white. They're just proud of their heritage, and nothing wrong with that because I'm proud to be black. I don't throw it in your face and everything. You know what I'm saying? So there's
Hey,
nothing.
Black.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you something, Black. So I'm gonna give you two stories. So
Yeah.
first of all, I had a Sudanese brother who was with me in prison, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Man, I'm gonna teach you how to get rich." He said, "But don't be offended by what I tell you." So I say, "Okay, go ahead." So he say, "The way you get rich is off these niggas," and I'm like, "Whoa, what you mean?" I was offended. And he was like, I ain't saying you a nigga because you're not a nigga. A nigga is an ignorant individual. That's a title for somebody who can't think. That don't mean black people. That don't mean white people. That don't mean none of that. He said, but I'm going to tell you, you have a lot of black people in this country who don't value their money and they don't value their life. And people all around the world know it except them. He said, you can come here, set up a store, set up a grocery store, set up a little convenience store. And guess what? You will have black people come in there and they want to cash their check. They so much in a rush to cash the check and the bank closed that they like, all right, you can just, if you cash it for me, take 200 or 300 out and do it. He's saying you have multiple people doing this. So it's all this free money flowing. He say, then you have, he said, this is the difference he noticed. He had a Subway and he said, white people, they work hard for their money. So they want the service that they supposed to get for their money. So they might want $100 worth of service for $5. Cut the bread this way, put the butter on here, slice the meat like this. He say, man, I had to work so hard for $5 when I was dealing with white people. He say the black people be like, man, you ain't finished yet. Hurry up, man. I'm trying to get out of here. They willing to pay you $10 to hurry up. He say, man, that's the difference. He say, man, people don't value their money and they don't value their life. He say, so if you want to be rich, just get in the position where black people spending their money with you because everybody else ain't spending their money. They saving their money. He said a black person to have on $200 worth of clothes and won't have $100 in his pocket. He say, man, something is wrong with that. He say, but that's just a secret that the rest of the world know that the people in this country, well, the black people haven't caught on to yet. So I was like, wow, man, that's crazy. But it make economic sense. If these people got money to spend, why wouldn't I set up in the spot where I can get all their money? So they prey on us because they feel like we don't value our life or value our money. Then it's another story. I had a white police officer. He wouldn't help me when I was in Red Onion. I was in Virginia. He wouldn't help me, so I told him he racist, and he was like, "I'm not gonna do nothing to jeopardize my job. That don't have nothing to do with racism." He said, "I'm gonna tell you something else. I don't have to be racist against you, cause we winning." He said, "My race winning. We not running around killing all our people. We not pimping all our women. We not calling each other stupid every day. We not tearing each other down. We not doing none of that. You guys are doing that. So what do I need to be in competition with you for? Why do I need to be racist against you for? I don't even have to think about you, because if you was any type of competition, then you will be having the same job I got or better. I'll be working for you. I don't see none of y'all in that position. So I'm not racist against you. I have no right to be, because you not worth nothing to me." He saying that's just being truthful. And it blew my mind. I was like, look how people think, because we got all of this power when it come to, oh man, he disrespect me, look at me wrong, I'm gonna go kill him. How you got all that energy? You can give up your life and go do life for something so small, but you ain't got enough energy that you can tell your little homies, man, y'all ain't killing each other no more, because every time you kill somebody, it's gonna keep on knocking us back. They can't stop that, but they can stop everything else. They ain't willing to stand up for that, but they willing to stand up for everything else. And everybody know the truth about us except us. And that's why I say we got the wrong people speaking for us. People who ain't never been through nothing. They ain't never been around nobody. They don't know nothing. They just talking like Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter is some bullshit. And I'm glad you brought that story up, because dude was actually being honest. And what I tell people all the time, and what I'm trying to tell people all the time, the ultimate equalizer is education, right? It's certain places you can get denied because of your color, but it's not too many places you can get denied because of your education, you know? So we need to get a better education system, because I made up I was going to put up a post, right? Us black people in our neighborhoods, we're taught not to trust the police, right? We're taught not to communicate with the police, talk to the police, right? We're not teaching our kids you can be the police. We need the police. We need people like you to be the police, because we need people like you to protect our neighborhoods. You know, get the crooked cops out of position and things like that. We don't preach that type of unity or that type of how should I say, leadership. You know what I'm saying? We don't preach that. Like, you can be like a Tim Scott, or you can be a senator or a mayor, or we need your voice. You can be a police captain, right? Because the ones we got in the positions are puppets, right? The ones we got as mayors, the black governors and things like that, and the black police chiefs and things. And a lot of them not. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them not, but there's a lot of them out there that is. You feel me? So we, like you say, we need people in position to speak for us, but we don't train our kids to be in a position. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just a YouTuber, right? Now, it'd be different if I was in a position like Tim Scott. But then, if I was in a position like Tim Scott, will black people would listen to me because I'm a Republican, right?
I think they'll listen to you. I think they'll listen to you. The thing is this: when they actually see your track record and they say, man, the man went through the same struggles we went through, grew up in the same way we grew up, they can connect with you. Like, just because you rose beyond that, a lot of them would like to raise beyond that. And then, like I said, I had said on one of my YouTube talks, I was talking about.
Wait. What, you would think that, right? But like Tim Scott, he flunked, he been through a lot of different shit like me, right? You would think that, but as a black man, like I said, as a Republican, and I try to tell people that, you get more backlash and you get more people calling you coons and niggas and shit like that for explaining why you changed and who you changed and what you changed for, right? Than you is by this line or shutting the fuck up. You feel me? And so it's a lot of black people that want to speak out like me. That's why I speak for a lot of black people. That's why a lot of black people like me, because I say what they can't say, because they probably have a job. People follow them on Facebook. They don't want to hear the backlash. They don't want to go back and forth. So I say what a lot of black people think, right? So in doing that, right, I get a lot of people offended because they don't understand how other people think and how other people feel. They always think it's about themselves. Hey man, it's about me, my thoughts and shit like that. So whatever you think, whatever you believe, or whatever you support, it really don't fucking matter.
So Black, let me ask you this then. So let's just say tomorrow I became the president of the United States and I was a Republican president. Do you think all the people who grew up with me, the people who've been in jail with me, the people who know who I am, gonna just abandon me?
Hey, let me tell you something. This last 3 months, right, I have lost probably 3 of my closest friends, right? By believing what I want to believe in, right? I had one of my friends, like I can show you, I can say one of my friends called me stupid and for believing what I want to believe in and things like that. This is recently, right? I just lost a friend, right? Saying I'm making myself, I've been showing a screenshot, right? So I'm getting called an idiot by my friends and things like that, and I've lost friends because of what I believe in. Well, I don't want to show the name because I don't want nobody hate on a person, right? And it's kind of fucked up because now people are telling me I can't be myself, you know, and I don't broadcast this and stuff like that, but it's fucked up when I have to lose friends because of something I believe in. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking I'm doing a good thing, but there's people out there who think I'm doing something fucked up. You know, and I can't say it hurts because I know what I'm doing and I know the purpose of what I'm doing to folks. I can't say, oh, it hurt my feelings and no shit like that. That's some punk shit, you know what I'm saying? But it's kind of
But that
fucked up.
come with growth though, Black. Like
Yeah.
if your foot get bigger, then the shoes you used to be able to wear, you ain't gonna be able to wear no more. So it's just like with me. I decided not to sell drugs. I decided not to be a gangster. So a lot of people, they can't vibe with the new me. Like, you think you a scholar or whatever. Like, they not with that. They with the old dude who was a criminal. So of course, when you grow, you're gonna always lose people. That's just growth. You grow outside your shirt, you ain't gonna be able to wear the same shirts. You gotta lose them. They don't fit no more. Give them away. So you outgrew them. So that just happens. But there's gonna be a lot of people who do hope you stand up and speak for them, and they gonna support you. People who wasn't your friend before, so it go both ways.
See right here, right? You doing it to yourself, right? Making yourself look like an idiot. Well, that's dumb as fuck. If you trying to make valid points, what the fuck you think that's an excuse because you was driving so you was serious about this, but you post while driving, that's an idiot shit. If I'm being serious, why would you be reckless and post? Well, I was letting her know I was driving while I'm posting, so I spell checked it, right? But they was calling me like most of the times I send a post on Facebook. I'm driving, so I say something and I really don't spell check it and I post it. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes I got to go back over it later on and spell check it and shit like that. So most of the times I'm at a red light. You know what I'm saying? I post some shit, right? So I told her I was. That's not what I wanted to show you, but I told her I was posting up shit, right? But let me show you the shit where stupid, like, where well, and this is the part when she like post talking about. Keep talking. Let's see where we at. Yeah, but like I said, you would think that, but like I said, I lost a lot of friends being myself.
But you being your new self because you used to be somebody else. Yeah. You used to be somebody who would go upside somebody's head and be back in jail eating lunch and don't even think about it twice. You ain't that person no more. So you can't expect to keep the same friends when you ain't the same person. They can't vibe with you no more. You outgrew them.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell her right. I'm trying to tell her right. Like I have a lot of black people that support me. So when people say, "Oh, you doing this for white people," and I'm like, I have a lot of black people that actually follow me and support me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's kind of fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of people. I don't want to know. I have a lot of people, black people that follow me and support me. You know what I'm saying? So when you say that I'm doing stuff for white folks and you doing this and stuff like that, it's kind of fucked up. Like I say, and I'm losing friends. Like if I was doing it for the money, it would be easy for me to be a Democrat. It would be easy for me to make jokes against Donald Trump and shit like that. But this is something I believe in. And because I believe in it, I done lost like I said, I done lost 3 friends within this last month. I'm talking about people I done grew up with, people I done had history with, people I done shows with. And I lost a period of about 10 friends over this period of time. Like people like this unfriend me, like this, like people I knew from way back in the day. Oh, you a Trump supporter now? Are you Republican? Oh, you got racist people on your page, and they befriend me. You feel me? So what I say is, it's not gonna happen because we all know Barack Obama was a puppet, right? And as far as them listening to black people listening to somebody, everybody we got to listen to is a puppet. Al Sharpton, Eric Dyson, Cornel West, the fucking gay dude Don Lemon. Everybody we get to listen to as far as giving us the news is a fucking is a puppet. You feel what I'm saying? So when we get somebody, as far as somebody, we got different black dudes on the Republican side. It's not just Tim Scott. We got powerful black dudes on the Republican side. You know what I'm saying? Walter Williams, I got a list of Walter Williams. I was doing some research. We got a list of strong black men that's philosophers. You know, Ben Carson, brain surgeons and stuff like that. But they don't get the notoriety as all these sellouts do, because they more about uplifting black folks. They more about not making excuses. They more about telling black people what's really going on as far as in the household. Now, Larry Elder got a movie coming out called Uncle Tom, right? And it's talking about, I don't know if you saw talking about it, but it's real interesting. It's about how it's the real reason why blacks being oppressed and stuff like that, you know, and stuff like that. How blacks are being called Uncle Tom because they're Republican, they're conservative, and they think a certain way. You know, it's like they think because you're Republican or you conservative, you automatically think they automatically think you want something bad to happen to your people. You feel what I'm saying? Which is
I'm gonna tell you something. It's somebody you didn't mention, whose name you didn't mention. That was Michael Steele. So I was watching the State of the Black Union, and a lot of people who got voice in the black community, they were speaking on this event. So they was kind of like against Michael Steele, and they was asking him like, how you end up being a Republican? And he was like, I don't think blacks had no problem with Republicans when there was a Republican president that helped get rid of slavery. Like they was all for the Republicans back then. He was like, and I think the thing with us, with anybody, like if the Republicans is for the blacks and helping the blacks, then the blacks gonna be for them. I don't think black people even care about that. Like black people been sold into slavery by their own people. The Arabs kidnapped them. Like everybody had a chance to exploit black people, even black people now, killing each other, disrespecting each other. So everybody been exploiting the black people. So I think the black people is more so, I'm with whoever support me. So that's with anybody. If the white people had whatever, and I ain't gonna say the white people because you're generalizing a whole bunch of people in one pool. So I'm gonna say some of the people who white, they might feel like they're gonna support Pepsi because Pepsi do something for them, or they might just like it, but they got different reasons for doing different things. So when it comes to stuff like that, like people gonna support whoever support them, or they gonna support whatever they feel is good for them. You're not gonna have everybody gonna be a Republican, everybody not gonna be a Democrat. I think even when it comes to you, like you like a lot of their ideas, the Republican ideas, but you're a realist. You don't just say, okay, the Democrats is doing everything wrong. Now you agree with some of the stuff they doing too, but you agree with more stuff that the Republicans doing. So you identify with them more. So this is about right and wrong. I don't think this is about no political party. And a lot of people get that twisted. They think I gotta be this or I gotta be that. You ain't gotta be neither one. You can take and pick and choose from both of them, and then you can come up with a great idea that's already out there. You could just push it forth like you doing. You pushing it on a whole different platform, and the people ain't hearing the people who got the biggest voice because the way they present themselves.
Yeah, see, and like you said, like the reason like I'm a conservative, right? Because I've been a conservative like basically for the last 5 or 6 years, but I didn't know conservative ways because I wasn't taught conservative ways, right? And I think a lot more black people need to be taught how to be conservative, and maybe they follow the conservative party because, like you say, I can't do everything wrong, right? And the Republicans can't do everything right. You know what I'm saying? It's impossible, right? It's impossible. You can't be 100 for 100, right? So like you said, it's certain things the Democrats do. But my policies and my ideologies follow the Republicans, you know what I'm saying? As far as a party and the ideas go and the things they're trying to pass, the accomplishments, the results, the legislations, the bills, you know what I'm saying? This everything that goes with the Republican Party. Now, as I say, I've been in the like me and my homie had an argument the other day. He was telling me, like, tell me where they living at I talk about Democrats so bad. Tell me where at in the Republican state or city that blacks are doing good, right? And I told him, I can't answer that because I lived in a Democratic city, state under Democratic control for the last 44 years. I have no experience in that. So I can't tell you that. You feel what I'm saying? Or it would be a lie. I don't know any individuals that's living in Republican, no black individuals that's living. I'm pretty sure it is some, and I'm pretty sure they're successful, but I don't know none personally. So I can't tell you no experience that I haven't experienced. All I can tell you is about 44 years I've been in Los Angeles and what I've received from my government and who was in charge. You feel what I'm saying? If I'm in a position and the opportunities from hasn't gotten better, they have gotten worse since I've been younger, you know what I'm saying? Because remember, when we was younger, we can go get I can go to a school and go get a school lunch during the summertime. We used to hit 3 or 4 schools. You know what I'm saying? So it was all kind of summer programs, you know, and things like that. The parks and recreations was cool. You know, it was certain things you can do as far as education for your kids, extra summer schools, after school programs. They cut a lot of that shit out. They cut a lot of things in school out. So it was actually more opportunities then in the Democratic city than it is now. Taking out this in school, taking out this out of park, taking this out of program, taking this out of the city and shit like that. So it's now actually making it harder to live in my Democratic city when other places in the country, I heard it's easier to live. Unless you're in LA and you got money, you already know it. You got to have a job and a hustle just to live. This a fucking keep up with. You feel me? You got to. I thought you were calling somebody. You got to have a hustle and a job to keep up with.
No. I say just to pay rent, you got to have $50,000 around here.
That's why I tell people. That's why people are like, hey man, you on here, this is my job. So people like, man, you be working a lot of hours on this YouTube. I have to work a lot of hours on this YouTube because people don't know how much rent costs. So I gotta keep producing these videos. I gotta keep saving. I gotta keep doing this shit because people don't know you gotta have money to live in LA, you know, and shit like that. I don't have too much extra money. Like lately, people been donating money, so I have a little extra money to do shit and buy shit, you know, when they come in big chunks. But other than that, I have a life to live. And people don't understand that. But I understand capitalism, right? Don't nobody owe me shit. Don't nobody on YouTube owe me shit. Don't nobody have to donate to me. Nobody. And I'm not going to ask them. I'm going to put up a Cash App, a PayPal, and shit like that. But they don't owe me a motherfucking thing. And I accept that. So when people be like, hey, Black, I can't do it. I want to donate. I'm like, cool. I understand you can't right now. Even then, you still don't owe me a dime. If you appreciate my work, you can donate, you know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of people out there who feel that people owe them, you know what I'm saying, for services. No, people are going to appreciate your service. People, you know what I'm saying? You can get owed for work and shit like that when you render a service for something like that. You know, but if you're doing something you like as far as entrepreneurship and something that's independent, you have to actually get people to support your ideas, to support your business, to support everything you do. Like you, right? Like you say, you have books you wrote, right?
Yeah.
You can't force nobody to buy them, right?
Nah.
But what you can do, right, is you can, like you're doing right now, right? I'm pretty sure you're gonna pick up the book sales off of this. You can let people understand where you are and let them know what you're about. And if they appreciate what you're about and understand where you're coming from, they're gonna naturally donate or buy your book or pay for your services, which is the time you spent in writing that book. Because you spend time in that book, you put vision in that book, you have put blood, sweat, and tears in that book. It's things in that book, you know what I'm saying, that you want to express and you want people to know, and it's people and things that people should know that's in that book. You know what I'm saying? So if a person get that book and they read it, it's a book that they like, and they read another one, right? That's because you put in the hard work. You didn't accept no handouts. You found something that you was good at. You found something that you can give back to the world and shit like that. And you didn't accept no handouts. You supposed to promote your shit. right? But you're not up there, hey man, can you buy my book with this? You introduce yourself, you know what I'm saying? You let people know who you are, and you and people are gonna respect that, or they're not gonna respect that.
And
So
see, I'm glad you mentioned that, right? Because here's the thing: you have so many people right now. Once again, they jump on bandwagons. We got the wrong people speaking for us, but people like they on the reentry thing real heavy. Everybody keep talking about prison reform and reentry, but you have somebody like myself who wrote 50 novels, who got 4 published, and I'm in Santa Monica College, straight A student. I'm doing everything right when it comes to reentry, but I don't see them. They don't support what I'm doing, but they say they support my struggle, but they don't support my struggle, because how could you possibly support my struggle and I'm doing all of this stuff good and you not creating no type of avenue for me to be able to speak or promote myself, which is push my books. People invite me to speak. They want me to speak for their company. And I'm like, how does that benefit me at all? Like, I just got out of jail. I'm almost homeless. I just did 13 years in the feds. Fresh home in a state that I don't know nobody, ain't taking family support. I'm trying to do it all myself. But you all about reentry. Guess what? I'm a part of reentry. I just re-entered. So how are you helping me? How are you push forth the agenda that you are really what you say you about? Because they ain't helping me at all. I never seen one of them buy my books. I never seen one of them mention my books or none of that. You did more for that. And look, if it's about a party, okay, I'm in a Democratic state. I don't see no Democrats making way for me to do my thing. But I see you, younger Republican brother, you made way for me to do my thing. Last video we did is something like 10,000 people viewed that video. So I appreciate that. That 10,000 people took the time out of their life to figure that what I might have had to say was worthy of their time. That means more to me than anything. Because when I was in jail, when nobody give me time, even my own family, they didn't have time for me. They just didn't. So when people who I don't even know take time out of their day to listen to me and they might share this with somebody, that means a lot, because now people know what I'm doing. They can go buy the book. Then once they start to see, like, man, a lot of people lost their life, lost their freedom. He knows about it because he been through that. So if you read his books, then if you're really trying to do something about prison reform and reentry, you can help, because now you know the real problem, because you read the book and you see firsthand experience of what people go through who's in his shoes. So I appreciate all this, but what you said is key on point. It's key on point.
yeah, because that like you said, we need a lot of brothers who we need more brothers to speak out, but we need a platform, because like I say, they don't want our message to get out. They don't want people to know that they didn't make the change for us, that they couldn't do it with their policies, they couldn't do it with their legislation. So they don't want nobody to know, like the people that's voting, that hey, Donald Trump or Republican or they pass this bill for them, you know what I'm saying, or let these people free, or got these people more money, or got
And
these.
see, Black, that's what I don't understand either. Like, you got a brother like yourself, you just lost 10 friends, 10 strong friends for supporting a brand that don't even support you. And I ain't saying that you should be seeking some type of retribution, like, oh, I'm Republican, pay me for doing that. Nah, you don't need them to do that. But you bring a different facet to their party that they've never had. They've never had no street dude who been to prison, been through the system, and could possibly be against the Republicans altogether. But he chose, based on his own intellect and his study and knowledge of what he's getting into, he feels that this Republican Party is a better party. They need to put you on the platform when they spending all these millions and millions of dollars trying to campaign for this man to get reelected. They need people to hear your story. But are they doing it? Once again, we got the wrong people speaking for us. They up there trying to shine. Get out the way, man. You've been on TV forever, man. Let somebody else get up there. It's fresh ideas.
Are you going out? You're going out. You're going out.
Living example of that, but they ain't doing that, so that's their fault. They missing the opportunity.
Yeah, like you said, you need to be more of us, and I'm gonna try to because I was thinking about doing something like, because they was doing shows like Rock the Vote and all that other stuff. They was going around and they was doing rap shows and rap concerts and things like that, trying to register voters and things like that. And I kind of wanted to do something like that, because with my comedy, I have the ability to teach too. So if I was able to go to different states and different countries, different states and different cities and stuff like that, and kind of do a hip hop comedy show, you know what I'm saying, with comedians and things like that, and rappers and shit like that, who want to come and see shit and let people know, like, hey, just because I'm a Republican don't mean I can't still be a real nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a Republican don't mean I can't still be black. Just because I'm a Republican don't mean I can't fuck with my people. Now, all I'm asking you to do is do what I do. Don't take nobody's word for it. Just do your research. Like I tell everybody about my videos, right? Don't take your word for what I say. Just do your research. That's all I've done. That's what made me become a Republican. Doing my research about the history of the KKK and the Republican parties and laws and civil rights and I've learned, and in these last 2 years, I've learned more on myself, right, than any school I've been to, right? Learning on myself, learning history, learning laws, learning legislation. I've learned that myself more than any college or anything. So when I tell people, and I'm still getting called dumb, and all I do is read, research, you know, and study. But I still get called dumb. And that's why people who don't do the same thing I do, don't take the time out to read. Don't take the time out to study. Don't take the time out to write. They stay on Facebook and Instagram and taking pictures. But I'm dumb for educating myself about how I've been lied to. I'm dumb for educating on myself on things that I have a right to, right? That I have that I can take advantage of, right? I'm a fool for that, right? And what I tell people all the time, if I'm a liar and this shit is so easy about doing politics and shit like that, why one of y'all become a anti-Trump comedian and do the same thing I do and get donations? It should be easy.
Yeah.
You feel me? It should be easy. But they can't get they can't find no lies on Donald Trump, or they can't do it because if they've done it, they will look stupid. Because if any comedian do what I do on Donald Trump, they would have to make up lies.
Hey, Black, check this out.
Yeah,
check this out. So Donald Trump, they was saying we don't think he ever paid taxes, right? So they was in the hoopla. He don't think he ever paid taxes. He ain't paid his fair share. Man, I guarantee you right now, if you go gather up the whole United States and say if we could come up with a way for you to never pay taxes again, you can keep all your money. Who would want that? Man, no, I guarantee you every hand to go up. And it don't matter if they Republican or Democrat. Everybody, if I work for my money, I want to keep my money. Now we know that you do need to help out. But at the same time, if it's mine, it's mine. Let me give it to who I want to give it to. Don't force me into a situation. So, like I said, when they really look at like what you said, the information, okay, he ain't paying taxes if he not paying taxes. If he's smart enough not to pay taxes, and if the rest of the people could figure that out, they be doing the same exact thing.
Like David Icke was saying, I don't know if you know who David Icke is. You know, I'm pretty sure you know who David Icke is.
Yeah.
Like David Icke was saying, like it's not you don't really have to pay taxes, right? It's certain things, you know, where you don't have to really pay taxes. It's not. I mean, it's really illegal. You know what I'm saying, for them to take certain taxes out. I think it was federal taxes or something like that.